You all may be seated. Okay, Miss or Mrs. Cheney?
Mrs.
Mrs.
Yes.
Cheney.
Remarried.
You brought this case before the court. What's going on?
So we were friends. We went out for drinks after.
All right, guys, buckle up, because what you're about to watch isn't just another child support dispute. This is a story about responsibility, regret, and timing. Two co-workers had one night that changed everything. She carried the pregnancy, the birth, the expenses, and the first year alone. He disappeared. No calls, no support, no presence. Now, suddenly, he wants back in. And the courtroom becomes the place where all that hurt comes out. But this isn't just emotional. There's numbers, strategy, legal structure, and consequences. And the question is, does wanting to be a father now erase where he wasn't before?
A promotion, and everybody else left. It left us two. Had a little too much to drink. Anyway, I end up pregnant. He's completely out of the picture. Doesn't answer text calls, whatever. All of a sudden, he comes to me and says he wants to be a part of our kid's life. And I said, okay, well, you're going to have to give me child support. I'm not just going to let you all of a sudden be dad, you know. And
How old is the child?
He's 18 months.
Okay.
18 months, yep.
Watch how she presents her story. She's frustrated, but not irrational. She's not saying he shouldn't see the child. She's saying responsibility needs to be shared. She didn't get to choose the hard part. She lived it. So when he suddenly reappears wanting parental credit without the parental cost, she's not wrong to question the motive. The tension here isn't just financial. It's emotional accountability. She wants consistency, not excuses. And the law is designed to look at actions, not promises.
Okay, continue.
Oh, I'm sorry. So he's like, well, I can't pay child support, but I'll pay the daycare bill. Daycare's $8.55 a month. Okay. He claims he only makes $24,000. That adds up to almost half his income, if that's what he actually said. I mean, this is not the way a guy who lives a life of $24,000. I mean, that suit probably costs like, I don't know, half that or something.
It is a nice suit.
I shop clearance.
Okay.
I do pretty well on sales.
Now notice how he frames his side. He insists he makes only $24,000 a year. And conveniently, he's self-employed, meaning he controls the books, the reporting, and the proof of income. The judge can only use what he provides, which makes cases like this very slippery. Self-employment can hide income in write-offs, deductions, or minimize taxable earnings. So the real question becomes, is this truly his income, or is it what he chose to report? The court has to walk a very fine line between fairness and skepticism.
He shops on clearance.
Okay. I've never seen that suit at JCPenney, but all right.
Okay. So $855 a month in daycare. You say you make $24,000 a year.
$24,000 a year, that is
And
correct.
I do have his tax returns that he produced showing $24,000 a year, but you're
I do, yes.
So is it accurate, or did you manipulate it?
If you're questioning if I'm being honest in my tax returns,
Yes.
I am being honest in my tax returns, Your Honor.
Okay. And I can only go based off of what he produces. Living-wise.
This is where the case shifts. She notices the lifestyle doesn't match the numbers. The suit, the expenses, the stability he claims he doesn't have, it doesn't add up. When financial reality and lived presentation don't match, judges pay attention. She isn't accusing him outright. She's calling out the pattern. And that's what creates tension in child support cases. Money tells a story. Sometimes a very different story than words do. And the judge is already watching that difference.
Do you live with someone?
I'm in an apartment sharing situation right now with the money I make every month, and with basically close to half of my salary going to pay for daycare. I've got to share. I can't afford my own place on my own.
Okay. And living expenses, they're shared between your roommates?
Pretty much we kind of split the groceries, things like that. Utilities get split evenly.
Okay. Well, then that kind of makes sense. So you're asking, what exactly are you asking?
But then comes the emotional blow. The child is 18 months old, and he missed the entire first year. That's the part that hits strongest. Because the first year, That's doctor visits, sleepless nights, learning how to be a parent alone. She didn't get to choose whether she was ready. She became ready because there was no alternative. So while he talks about trying now, she's remembering the nights she carried this alone. That's not bitterness. That's lived reality. And that's what shapes how trust gets rebuilt or doesn't.
So what is the middle ground that you're looking for? Because legally, he cannot pay daycare and child support. I mean, you can't have it both ways. So what would be a middle ground for you?
I guess we'd have to kind of discuss what would be child support versus daycare and how the parental responsibilities would change. Would he get them on weekends? Would he get them on holidays? Things like that. So,
Well,
because he doesn't live real close either, you know.
Well, we're here today, so let's discuss it. Like I said, he cannot pay daycare on top of child support. It just can't happen. So if you were to give him a number that's in between the 24,000 that, I mean, because when you break that down based on child support for one child.
Then she raises the core financial conflict. He wants involvement without accepting proportional financial responsibility. But the law is clear. Parenting isn't optional. You don't get half involvement at half price. And she's right to say the burden shouldn't fall entirely on her just because she earns more. Child support isn't about balancing their lifestyle. It's about supporting the child's needs. And daycare at $855 a month is not optional. It's survival. And here comes a key legal point. He cannot pay daycare and child support at the same time. The court won't double charge a parent for the same expense category. So now the judge has to determine which system is financially and legally appropriate. And this is where negotiation begins. But negotiation only works when both parents communicate clearly. And right now, they're talking at each other, not with each other.
You know, he was absent the entire first year, completely absent. So I paid 100% of everything. You know, he was in the hospital after he was born. I took care of those bills.
And you didn't give her any money?
Not at that point, Your Honor, no.
What was the reason for that?
I was effectively in the same situation I am now. Again, being self-employed, my income has not gone up. There was a little bit between the two of us. I probably, looking back, should have stepped in sooner, and that's all I'm trying to do now.
Okay.
I want to have a relationship with our son. The amount I'm paying on a monthly basis is already, again, 45% or so.
It's a lot.
Of my income. I don't know the percentages, etc., what I'm required to do.
Notice how the judge redirects the conversation. She strips away emotion and goes back to the math. One child, one income calculation, 20% guideline. That lands at roughly $349 per month. Cold, clean, structured. And yet, he has already been paying $855, which means legally, he has been overpaying. And that's what shifts the power in the room. She's no longer the only one who carried the burden. The judge is recognizing his contribution, too. Suddenly, both sides have legitimacy.
I feel I'm already stepping up, and by paying the full daycare, as far as I know, and I've talked to some friends, I'm paying more than I actually have to.
He actually is. Because if we were to break down, based on what it is that he makes, if we were to break down, and you only have one child, okay, if we were to break down
That
what
he knows of. Let's just go ahead and
What
put
was
that.
that? How will you know?
Well, he knocked me up and left for a year. So, I mean, there might be some other women out there
Wait a minute. In fairness,
that may not be able to count how many partners they've been with, but I know it was his kid.
In fairness, he wasn't alone in knocking you up.
I get that.
You
And I
kinda
took
played a
100%
fair
responsibility
role
for that
in it,
child for a
so
full
let's not
12
blame
months.
it on him.
Okay.
Let's not blame it
Okay.
all on him.
But then the personal attacks start creeping in. She throws out the insinuation about other women. The judge shuts it down instantly. Because court is not the place for emotional digs, character attacks, or past resentments. The judge reminds them, and us, that a child support hearing is not punishment. It's structure. And structure is what prevents this child from becoming collateral damage to their unresolved anger.
$8 a month in child support. So $968 would be all that he pays. And out of that, that would include whatever, if you change daycares, let me just make sure I'm very clear on this. If you change daycares and the amount goes up to $1,000, all he's responsible for is the $855 for the daycare. That's it. That's all you're responsible for. But the health insurance, if you have health insurance available through your job, you can enroll the child under health insurance and remove that 113 additional charge, and you'll be only responsible for 8.
To make sure I understand, so I'm already paying $855 a month as compared to the $349 that you calculated I should be responsible for.
Now the judge makes the ruling that changes everything. Daycare becomes child support. This is fair, clean, and ensures the child's needs come first. Then the health insurance reimbursement adds the remaining balance. Total monthly obligation, $968. But here's the key. The judge also allows flexibility. If the parents learn to communicate and agree on a different amount later, the court will honor it. This is the judge trying to create peace, not conflict.
So now we're saying, well, instead of basing it off of $349, potentially lowering it, or at least the two of us coming to some sort of agreement and saying, I'm already paying 45% of my salary. I've got to pay now $968 a month, which is, again, more than what I'm supposed to be paying in child support.
You've been paying, although it's 3 times the amount, you've been comfortably paying this. This isn't something that she necessarily, when I say comfortably, I don't know your financial situation, but you've been paying it for some time.
With roommates and
right.
TV
and
dinners.
I understand, but under Texas law, we can deviate from what the guy.
And here's where he struggles. He hears the number, not the reasoning. $968 sounds heavy. It is. But the judge reminds him, he has been paying this already. The court is simply giving it legal structure and stability. The child's needs stay covered. No surprises. No skipped months. No arguments. Just responsibility with consistency. And that's what the law prioritizes every time.
Guideline support should be if we find good reason to do it. And daycare expenses, they are considered one of those reasons. Now, if you two, while you're here, you want to agree to a lesser amount, if you want to meet in the middle and say, let's say you decide to do $700, let's say you decide to say $750, that's what you can do. But based on what you all have been telling me, you've been paying daycare, it's $855. That would be in the best interest of the child to at least make sure that the daycare. So, like I said, if you guys decide to come with something different, you can come back and modify that, and I'd be happy to enter in the number that you all come up with. Is there anything further today?
I don't think so.
Okay. Anything further?
No, thank you.
Okay. Well, there's nothing further. You all are dismissed.
So in the end, the judge doesn't punish either parent. She stabilizes the child's world. The father pays daycare as support. The mother gets health insurance relief. And both now share responsibility under legal clarity. But the real outcome is bigger than numbers. This case shows how easy it is for resentment to speak louder than reason. Parenting requires presence, communication, and accountability, even when it's uncomfortable. If this case hit home, tell us what stood out most to you, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more real courtroom moments.